Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. In this video, we are going to talk about what surrendering actually means. And when we're manifesting, or whether we're just traversing the spiritual journey and we're being told to surrender, let it go, don't worry about it, don't think about it. Or if you're at a job you don't like but there's no other option and you're like forced to be there because the universe has you there for some reason. How do we surrender into that? How do we surrender into the discomfort? So I'm going to share a story with you today that really it's a really important part of my journey and how I ended up right here filming right now. And it was not easy. I've been through so many different things, so many different struggles. As soon as I woke up and went through my spiritual awakening back in December of 2017, so much has changed in my life. And I'm sure you guys are on the same journey. You're experiencing all these different changes, or maybe you're right in the middle of it and your ego is getting louder, or you're in the dark night of the soul, or you're starting to find your purpose, but you're so close and you're not just quite sure what it is yet. I'm going to do another video that I'll link down below once it's up. And it's going to be a video about the 5 signs that you know you're so close to your purpose. So here we go. How do we surrender? Okay, so on our spiritual journey, the universe, we might be manifesting something, right? Well, the universe knows where it needs to take us, or who it needs to introduce us to, or what we need to experience in order to receive that manifestation. So my example was I taught for 17 years, but 14 years in, I spiritually awakened and I started to manifest. I started to journal. I started to manifest, like I was doing big amounts of money, like $30,000, $33 million. And I would write it all over my house and I would meditate on it. And it wasn't so much about the money, but it was like what I wanted to do to earn the money. So I was really passionate about teaching kids about being mindful, meditation, teaching them how to go through struggle. I went through the loss of my 6-week-old daughter, Micah, and she was born with something called nemaline myopathy. My whole pregnancy was healthy. Everything was good. And then when she was born, she had like low tone. And that's the way they would describe somebody with muscular dystrophy. But we tested her whole 6 weeks that she was alive, and they could not diagnose her. She passed from respiratory failure. We were prepared for it. She was in my arms when she passed. That's why I got this heart tattoo for her, and I have a heart on my hand for her. So she is so close to my heart always. And she woke me up to the importance of life. So I was then passionate about teaching kids that, hey, bad things are going to happen to you and you're not going to be able to control it. But what are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it to fuel your mission here? How are you going to break out of the anxiety, break out of the depression? How are you going to start taking care of your body and eating good food and meditating and working out? So I was a health and phys ed teacher, but as soon as that loss happened to me, I transformed my teaching and I became like a life coach for these kids. And when I spiritually awakened, I started doing card readings and stuff. So I felt like I was pulling away from teacher Michelle and I didn't know who I was anymore. And it was really scary. So what I had to do was I had to really sit down and think, what do I want for my life? Like, do I want to be a reader? I always knew I wanted to do YouTube, but I wasn't even close to doing it back then, but I'm doing it this year. This is the first year I started YouTube. So it took me from 2017 to now to actually do my dream. So that's why I'm saying it's a long journey to get where you want to go. You have to surrender to the path. So I started writing statements. I'm so grateful now that I'm no longer teaching inside 4 walls. I am reaching kids all over the world with my lessons, and I am getting paid big bucks, and I'm doing minimal work, and I get to sleep in, I get to film, I get to do whatever. I just wanted to teach in a different way. And I placed the DoorDash order with the universe. And that's when my life started to get crazy. But I didn't know the universe was moving me to my desire. I just felt like my world was chaos. So I made that wish in December of 2018. Well, springtime came around and I felt this pull to quit my job. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, my soul was just like, Michelle, you have to quit. And I was like, what am I doing? I can't quit. 14 years in, I have a pension, health insurance. but my body was screaming quit. So I quit my job in June. Everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, where is she going? What is she doing? Is she having a midlife crisis? I kind of floated for like a month, tried to get my job back because I was so scared. And then I temporarily worked at my dad's office just to pay the bills. And then this is how I learned how the universe works. People kept jumping into my phone saying, Michelle, hey, you should teach at this school. You should teach at this school. And I interviewed at a couple places because I still was like panicked. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't know why I quit my job. I don't know why I'm moving to another school if that's what I'm supposed to do. It just didn't feel right. And I just kept journaling, like, I need a job. Like, I was working the office job for my dad and I was like, this is not me. I'd rather go back to teaching. I cannot do this. I literally was journaling like while I was working there. I was like, universe, bring me a new job fast, fast, fast. I'm going to get hired super, super fast. And what do you know? I get a Facebook message from a guy who's like, hey, you should teach at this one school. It's like 20 minutes away and they could really use you there. The kids are really struggling. And so I looked it up and I was like, all right, let me try this out. Went on the interview. Guess what? They hired me in 5 hours. For a teacher going on an interview for the first time, there's usually like 4 different interviews you have to go on. You have to meet with the board. You have to get board approved, meet with the principal, the superintendent. They hired me at the first interview in 5 hours. So my journaling, my manifesting, I want to get hired fast, fast, fast. It happened fast. So that's how the universe wants you there. So I get hired, I start teaching at this school, and I am so like scared, depressed. Like, what am I doing here? I was being called to surrender and I was not happy. And my mentor was like, Michelle, you have to stay at this job. You don't have any other choice. You don't want to go back and work at an office job. The universe has you here for a reason. Just be there. I was breaking up fights in the locker room. It was just chaos. Well, in 2 months, I got Teacher of the Month at the school. I created my own meditation space. I was teaching middle school and high school, which I had never done before. So I was being stretched out of my comfort zone. It was so uncomfortable. Talk about the full-on surrender. I had to let go of all expectations of what this job was going to be. When I quit my job at the other school, I was thinking I was going to go off and travel and spread my messages on a big stage somewhere or outside the classroom. Like, my ego was just wanting something bigger. But keep in mind, the universe was still moving me to that desire. I just didn't know it. So I created the meditation room. I was teaching kids from 6 through 12. And I was loving the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. For some reason, I felt like a mom to them. I just felt like I was just what they needed. And a lot of them were being raised by grandparents. A lot of them didn't have good home lives. Some of them were homeless and not getting food. So like, it was a great school for me to learn and expand my love and my compassion for how other people are truly living their lives and how everyone needs love no matter where they come from. It was just a great learning lesson for me. And because I got used to teaching the middle school level, that following summer, which was 2020, that's when everything went crazy and everything shut down. I got a DM on Instagram from a girl who saw what I was doing at that school. And she was like, hey, Michelle, would you be open to creating a virtual mindfulness program? So basically, I would film myself teaching and put the kids through a meditation. And I would make 30 videos and she would sell them for me to schools all over the US. And guess what age group? It was the middle school age group. So if we rewind, if I would have gotten that offer working at the other school, I had 0 experience with a meditation room. I had 0 experience teaching younger kids. I was only at the high school level teaching mostly like 16-year-olds. So if I never left that first job, I would have never had those experiences. And then when the opportunity came around for me to teach on a bigger scale, reaching kids all over the US, if I didn't switch schools, I wouldn't have had the tools to create the videos. So I even said yes to that offer. Meanwhile, I had never filmed anything. I didn't know how to put together. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to do any of that. And even looking back now that I'm doing YouTube, all of that editing and filming those videos was preparing me for YouTube. So there were so many different areas of my journey where I was surrendering. And it was a surrender experiment. I was being led by spirit, by the universe to each step, but it was long. It was slow. It was torturous. Like, think about on a Wednesday, I'm breaking up a fight in the locker room. And then I'm going and teaching a meditation class. Like, it just was a weird day for me. But then I'd come home from that day of school and being like, what are you doing, Michelle? Why are you teaching at the school? This is miserable. Yeah, the kids need me, but this is not why I left the other school. I wanted better for myself. But little did I know the universe that summer had something so amazing for me. And I got the opportunity to create the virtual program. And this website is called Scholastics. And if you want to go scope out my program, you can. It's on their website. It's so cool. So they reach after school programs all over the US and Canada. So I created those 30 videos. I said yes right off the bat to that DM. And I was like, yes, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out later. So the idea of my teachings reaching kids all over the US, mind blown. That was my manifestation. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be teaching kids, not in a school building, but reaching more. And I got what I asked for. It just took a year for it to happen. And the universe knew that I was not prepared for that offer. I needed to learn how to teach younger kids. I needed to create my own meditation room and really learn the art of meditating, which I did at that school. So in my videos, I sit there for like 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm talking like this on the video, teaching the kids about gratitude, acceptance, self-love, self-respect, forgiveness, and then I guide them through a meditation. That program or that website, that company now sells my program still to this day. I get checks from my program being sold to schools all over the US and Canada. So right now, somebody could be watching me on camera in their classroom. How cool is that? The universe brought me my manifestation. It just took a little time, and I had to surrender to moving out of that first job. I had to take the leap of faith for my manifestation to happen. I had to let go of something to allow something else in. So sometimes when we're manifesting and we're learning about surrendering, most people need to see proof. They need to know, like, I need to know before I take that leap of faith. So most people would not leave their job after 14 years with nothing lined up. And that's where the faith comes in. And that's where hearing stories like this can help guide you when you're feeling that nudge to not go somewhere or to go somewhere. Trust it. You can trust it. The universe is leading you with breadcrumbs to what you've asked for. And if your desires are not showing up, it's maybe because you're not following the breadcrumbs. Maybe you're a little scared, or maybe you don't know how to surrender and trust that the universe will guide you there. But think about me. In the spring, I quit my teaching job at the end of the school year. Within a month, I got hired again within 5 hours, but I didn't know I was going to go back to teaching again. In my mind, I was done, but the universe had a different plan. I got that job, created the meditation room, got teacher of the month. I felt like a little rock star at that school. I learned so much about different kinds of kids and younger age groups. And then a couple months later, I get an offer for the virtual program. I learned how to film. I learned how to edit. My program is now being sold all over the US and Canada. And I didn't even share the cherry on top, which to me, it's not that important, but it is on the manifesting journey. Do you remember earlier in the video, I mentioned manifesting $30,000 and I had it written on my walls and stuff on little pieces of paper? Guess what my first paycheck was for my program being sold? I created the program. I got asked for the program in July. My first paycheck came in December because so many schools had purchased it. There was 2 paychecks that were joined together, and they both amounted to $29,000. I think it was 750. I forget like the precise numbers, but it was 29,700 and something. So I was like $300 or $200 just shy of $30,000. So I manifested $30,000 doing what I love, being of service, teaching outside of the 4 walls, and reaching kids all over the US. All because I surrendered. I trusted that I was being led. My body was telling me where to go. And then I was also manifesting along the way, like, universe, please get me a job and let me get hired fast. All of these little breadcrumbs and signs and synchronicities, and they were all leading me to the $30,000, which is just the cherry on top. It's not why I did it, but to reach more kids and to think now those lessons and messages are helping so many kids across the world. it just lights me up. And even today, I got a voice memo from my saleswoman, and she's like, Michelle, I just sold your program to 11 more schools. I'm in schools in Michigan, in California, in Maryland, in Washington, D.C., in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, a couple in Canada. So it's magical. So whatever your journey is, whatever desires you are asking for, the universe has to move things for you. And sometimes it has to move you. And you have to be willing to move. And you will know when you need to move. My knowing that I had to leave that job, it was like an uncomfortable, I felt like I was going to get in trouble if I didn't move. But I also didn't know where I was going next. So that was the big discord for me, was I was so scared, but I also really trusted myself. Don't get me wrong. I was driving in my Jeep like a month later screaming, going, Michelle, why did you mess up your life? You're such an idiot. Why would you do this? You just left your job after 14 years. You loved your kids. You loved your coworkers. But I asked for a manifestation, and at the time I didn't know what was happening, but looking back, what a magical ride, right? So I invite you all to surrender. Take this story with you and know that it takes time. That was a full year before I got my manifestation, before I got the offer of my manifestation. And I had to go through a ton of healing for me to receive that. So when you're asking for things, be open, follow the breadcrumbs. If you need help figuring out if you are getting breadcrumbs and you're missing it, book a one-on-one session with me, or I can mentor you monthly. I do weekly calls, but it is so fun. And I highly recommend listening to or reading the book called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. They call him Mickey. He is so inspirational. I read that book and I just was like, this feels like my life. I am surrendering and I am doing things. And looking back at even the mindfulness program, that was preparing me for YouTube. So I would not be here putting out this content if I didn't learn how to edit and film and be on camera and have a presence on camera, if I didn't do those mindfulness programs for those kids. And I would still love to do more for kids, but this was always my dream, was to be a spiritual teacher and to help people believe in the universe. So it's kind of like I got to do all of it. So ask for whatever you want and be open to being moved or to having things being moved around you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, help me get this message out there for anybody else who's struggling with surrendering. We have to trust that the universe has a better plan for us. Even when your jobs, your relationships, whatever it is, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but there's no other option, then that means you're meant to be there for a reason. So embrace it and trust the process. All right, lovies, I will see you in the next one. Peace out.